Hello guys, super excited here. I'm here in the office of José Lepage. José is doing 380 Gs a day with his e-commerce business, one of our clients, amazing guy, very humble, very smart. I'm here to learn about e-commerce. I'm here to learn about how he does this and also the way he does it in a very sustainable way, not just, kind of like drop shipping random products. He actually has a warehouse behind this wall where people packing orders
like 5 inches away.
Yeah, exactly. So we had another conversation like few months ago where he hit his first benchmark. He's been doing like 100K a day.
That's right.
This Black Friday, he accelerated his business, got more inventory, obviously, and he was able to scale to 380 Gs a day.
That's right. I mean, thank you so much for having me. First and foremost, it's pretty crazy that, like 3-4 months ago, we were speaking about another benchmark, which was, super crazy. We were able to reach, 100K per day, which was something that I only had it in my dreams, and we made it like a reality. And right now we're speaking about like 4 times more. I'm pretty happy because obviously all the hard work was totally worth it. We were able to make almost 400K in a single day in Black Friday. The day after, we were able to make almost 200K. I mean, the Black Friday, Cyber Monday week was amazing for us. It was, game changer, totally. We made almost 700K in sales. I mean, it was super crazy. And obviously, I was super proud because all my mindset was super focused on that since basically September. It was totally worth it. We're super excited for these results, and obviously, we're trying to think about what we're going to do for next year. We want to hit even more numbers next year.
And it's amazing to see that kind of like how these transformations. We kind of like sometimes put these limitations on us, like 10K a day, 20K. It's like then you're going to that goal, and then you realize like, oh wow, there's so much more that you can do. If you do like $1 million a day consistently for 30 days, it's 30 million a month, right? That sounds like a lot, right? But then you think about all of the big companies, all of the big brands that are doing billions of dollars in revenue, and then you realize that there is so much room to grow. And that's the exciting part of this process.
Yeah, I mean, and what I always say is the fact that, you and me, we are like normal persons. We are not like genius or something like that. I mean, we are like people that, decided to hustle and decided to be like consistent and never like giving up. And I think that's the key. Many people, when they start, they think that 10K per day is like the roof, which is a total lie and mistake. We need to be like ambitious all the time. I can put my example, like even if we were able to make, basically 6 figures in one single day, speaking about the almost 400K in a day. Obviously, I was super happy, but at the same time, the happiness was for, 2 hours, 3 hours. After that, I was, focusing on what should I do next year. We're planning to do maybe $1 million in a single day. You cannot feel comfortable with the results that you're having. You can get like super happy, obviously, but you need to think about what's the next step. And I mean, from my perspective, all the people that make 1 million a day, as you say, I mean, they are not geniuses either. Yeah. I think the most important part is the fact that if you start like delegating and trying to build your systems and your structure, I think that's the key to keep growing and being able to make like $50 million a year or even $100 million per year,
Yeah.
It's not like rocket science, basically.
Exactly. For those of you who are watching, maybe they see you for the first time and say, who is this guy, doing this number? So it's like, if you can break down the picture, where are you from, kind of like how you get into e-commerce, like how your past looked like.
I am from Venezuela originally. I came here to the United States about 4 years ago. And I had the chance to start in the entrepreneurship world when I was in Venezuela. As soon as I moved here, I just wanted to have my own business and being successful. I was trying to create my own brand that it was basically apparel and accessories for a specific niche. Basically, I spent my whole first year trying to make it. I saw a lot of videos. I spent all my money basically, and you know what happened? Nothing happened, I lost all my money. The brand didn't work. I basically, lost all the merchandise that I had. I mean, it was super hard. I felt a lot of, frustration. depression. I wanted to go back to Venezuela.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was really hard, but that's when you realize that you cannot give up.
What was the trigger, or what was that experience? In those moments, pretty much the destiny is decided. Like, if you kind of like continue to decide to push through and figure it out, or you just decide to retreat, like most people. So what do you think was that for you?
I think it was like the first one was my girlfriend. She's my business partner today. Mm-hmm. We have been able to enjoy our lifestyle and rewards together. And she played a very important role in my growth as an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. And I remember that we have like a bottom line. There was a moment where I wasn't thinking about keep going. I just wanted to give up, and she totally helped me to change my mindset in that particular sense. And besides of that, I also remember that there was one day when I lost my Facebook account. It was something like that, super crazy. I remember that I sit in my desk and I started to write like a letter saying that particular day was one of the worst days since I got here. But that even if that was happening, I didn't want to give up, because I was fully prepared to achieve anything that I wanted. I have this shit. I have it in my backpack, and I'm still reading it. I mean, every day, because it's super crazy that it was like a manifestation. I was like, I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna make it. And 1 year and a half after pandemic was starting, and I decided to launch a specific product. And I remember that I told my girlfriend, like, okay, this is the last one that we're gonna try, because I was like almost $20,000 in debt.
Oh, wow.
I didn't have anything else to spend in terms of Facebook or something like that. I mean, I was pretty much screwed up, And I told my girlfriend that it was basically the last product that we were gonna try.
If that wouldn't work out, like, were you ready to go back to Venezuela?
Basically, I mean, I was planning
did you have a plan B?
I mean, my plan B was basically trying to find a job in here. And I remember that I told you also that I was trying to find a job in, vaping stores. Did you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
I was trying to find a job in vaping stores, and they were rejecting me. You don't need to have a lot of experience in this kind of stores, And even if I had my own store in Venezuela, I knew about this specific niche. They were like rejecting me, like, okay, this position is already filled. So I didn't have any luck at that time, Basically, the plan was, trying to find a job and see how it goes, in that time, When we started testing this product, like 6 months later, we were making our first $1 million in sales. It was like 5-6 months later. So that's why I always say that you don't have to be a genius. You just need to be like constant and being consistent and never giving up. I think that's the key. When I say it, I know that it's super like cliche. Yeah, it's something that everyone says, but it's the truth. You don't need to know you don't need to know more than the things that I'm telling right now. And many people don't understand it. They say like, okay, this is like BS. Yeah. We need to have something else, and that's a total lie.
What's the secret? People ask, what's the secret?
I mean, that's the secret. That's the secret. Whether you want to hear it in that way or not, that's the secret.
What was the trigger point for you to actually commit to this business more long term, so that 2 years later, you're still here, you're still operating the business grows year over year, you're happy about it, you're proud of this business that you're building. So what is the difference for you?
Yeah, I think the most important part in choosing e-commerce as my main source of income is the fact that right now with social media and advertising, you're able to see like many different business models. And I think that's one of the reasons why people maybe decide to start in e-commerce, and then after they lose their success, they start to test like in cryptos or Forex or Amazon or in stuff like that. They lose their focus basically. So I decided to keep going, because I realized that from all those business models, doing e-commerce is one of the only ways to have an asset besides the profits that you can make, because if you start working on your own brand, if you're trying to do the right thing, and if you sell the right product to the right audience, providing the best customer support, you're able to sell your brand after. So it's pretty fun to think about, I'm making money with my brand.
Yeah.
And besides that, obviously I'm gonna make even more money when I sell the brand. So if you start doing like crypto or trading in stocks, you cannot sell your account, And also I think that when you start focus on just one thing and you forget about the money, and you really enjoy the experience of having a real business, I think that's one of the most important parts, and basically the reason why I decided to keep going, because I knew that I had a long way to go. I'm learning from amazing people that are making like 2, 3, 4 times more than me. So I know that I'm still have a lot of roof to get there, That's why I decided to keep going and, trying to do the things in the right way every day that I wake up, That's basically the reason why.
One of the things that I've noticed about you is that you are okay with kind of like not doing what everyone else does. You still made a decision to change your environment where you live, right? Relocate to the place that is better for the business. What is the mindset that you have in terms of optimizing all of that environment for yourself?
Yeah, I think that, when we are young, we usually think that, working 12 hours a day, trying to make your own business is like a sacrifice or something like that. Obviously, average people decide to go and party and, drink every single day because they think that's the right choice. And you usually have the same mindset if you surround yourself with people that think of, like that,
Yeah.
I think that's very important to have priorities. I think that, even if you're able to go and party, that's like, it's gonna be like a fast moment, It's not going to last forever. So I would prefer to spend my time like wisely and trying to build something, because I know that when I have like 30 years.
How old are you now?
I'm 28.
Yeah.
I know that when I have 30, I'm gonna have the same energy. When I started with e-commerce, I was like 24 years old, 25 years old. And I decided to, sacrifice the parties and all the stuff just to have my own business. And right now I'm almost 30. I'm planning to have, a pretty nice net worth when I have 30, and I can enjoy everything that I didn't enjoy before, But, I think it's amazing that you're able to party, that you're able to do everything you wanted with money,
Yeah.
Because besides that, I think that when you live in these type of environments, you start thinking the wrong way in terms of materialistic stuff. You start putting parties as a priority. There's a lot of things happening in those areas, and you need to have like really strong mindset to keep going, and facing these like obstacles. So I decided to avoid them, and I decided to move here, and we were able to buy our first property. So obviously we're super excited. We feel like pretty chill, and most important, I feel really focused on what I want. So I know that living in a chill environment will help me a lot in terms of growing as a business,
Awesome. So when that, I want to kind of like double down on that, because I think this is such a key distinction between people who, stay in like in e-commerce, like growing like brands that are like long-term, like exiting those. So when that, when you started the brand, kind of like how was your process from, did you drop shipping at the beginning? Kind of like how did you evolve, improve your product, improve your experience, like to the point where you are right now, where you've been able to do it for like 2 years?
It was a really funny story, because when we ended selling our first product, we tried a second one, and we were doing drop shipping, and we had a lot of issues, in just like 2 months that we were selling that product, So after that, I decided to take a step back and start thinking about having like a real brand. And the funny part about it is that, I started with a specific product, and I wanted it to be a brand. And besides that, I started to sell the main product that we have right now with our real brand right now, And my girlfriend told me like, why are you focusing on this X product, trying to make it a brand, if we have another one that we are selling, So basically I forgot about the first product that I was trying to promote as a brand, and I started to focus in this one, which we started doing like drop shipping with that. And I started to realize that it doesn't matter if it's not customized at the moment. Speaking about the product, you are able to have a brand. You are able to keep improving and improving and improving. So my mindset changed, super in a really drastic way. And when it started to see this product as a real brand, I wasn't focusing on making like 30K a day, 40K a day. I was more focused on trying to sell what I can support, So if I had like 200 pieces, that was the exact amount of sales that I was gonna have, I wasn't thinking of if I had like a 200 units, I'm going to sell 500, 1,000 units, because it doesn't make sense. Obviously, you're gonna get money at the first moment, but after that, when people start realizing that you're not providing a good service, when they have delays in their orders, your brand is basically going to hell, because you didn't know how to support it. So that's why it's very important to realize that you need to control your business and you need to control your demand. And as soon as you start like getting traction, you can start scaling step by step, Obviously, maybe we were able to do 380K in a day last year, but we didn't have enough stock, we didn't have enough team members, we didn't have any like structure to support that. So that's why we decided to avoid it. And we waited until right now that we have like almost 20 people working with us as a team. We had enough, stock to fill. So I was like, okay, I'm ready to do this. And that's why we were able to achieve that goal. Actually, we were able to do even more than the amount of money that we made in that day. But I decided to, turn off the ads because, we didn't have enough stock. I mean, we sold like thousands and thousands of pieces in just 24 hours, and I didn't have more. So I decided to stop. In my opinion, materialistic stuff can wait, first and foremost. I think that, most of people that decided to start in a specific business model, obviously, they don't start like being millionaire. Obviously, they start because they need money and they want to change their lives. And it's pretty normal that, as soon as you start seeing money, you want to get into materialistic stuff. We were speaking about it. For example, one of the experiences that I have is that I really love like sneakers, and I got into a point where I had like 15 pairs of designer shoes, and after that I realized that it wasn't worth it. I told you, out of the cameras that I really like to wear like Nikes, even if it's like $100. But I feel really comfortable. So for me, materialistic stuff is something that, obviously you need to get it to realize that it's not worth it. It becomes something normal.
You have to just
life.
like get that shit out of the system.
It's something that becomes normal, I mean, before starting with e-commerce, if I wanted to buy a pair of Nikes, that was something normal for me, because it was like $70. It's not something super high. But for example, putting this example, if I have these designer shoes, right now when I buy them, if I buy them, it's a normal thing, I don't see it as a goal or something like that, because obviously I've been through there. And the same happens with the cars and all the stuff, At the end of the day, for me, it's like materialistic stuff, and it doesn't mean that you're better than anyone else or something like that. When I got my first car, I got super excited. I mean, I was like almost crying because I didn't have that materialistic stuff before. But as soon as I change it, and I have an SUV right now that it's worth 2 times the price, and I didn't get that excited as before, because I get used to it. Many people focus on the wrong things, They prefer to start investing in themselves before start thinking about their business. So they start buying like Lambos. So I mean, the question that I have for that is like, who are you trying to impress?
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you have a Lambo, you're not going to get impressed if I buy it, because for you it's a normal thing. So if I'm trying to impress you, I need to buy something like even better. So, but what's better than a Ferrari? You need to buy like a Bugatti that is worth like $3 million. That's pretty hard, And it's not worth it, because I mean, what can I achieve if I impress you? Obviously, I can I mean, I know you, we can make like a good like business relationship, but at the end of the day, I think it's more important if you're able to provide value instead of showing materialistic stuff. I think, mindset is very important in that sense, but I guess you need to live the experience to realize that materialistic things are not the priority when you're making money. It's more important to, create a good business.
Yeah, so social media kind of like drags you into this, right? Like that's
Right.
That's how you associate the success in business with having like cars and stuff, right? If you take money out of the business instead of like reinvesting it back, like either into yourself, your skills, kind of like your knowledge, like that you have in order to operate and grow the business, or the inventory or product development, and you're taking that money and you're spending it on more stuff like that, then you have less kind of like capital, you have like less chances of making it work, and now you're also distracted because now you have to take care of the car, and now it's like if it's very low car and the road is bad, now you can hit the you can hit it, like, and so now you have more things to worry about besides the thing that actually got you in that place, in that position.
Yeah, I mean, many people don't realize about how important it is to have a big capital for your business.
That's actually a very good point. I mean, you have like how much inventory you have here behind the wall?
I mean, it's like $500,000.
$500,000.
Yeah, and it was because obviously I realized about the importance of having capital inside your business.
Yeah.
Many people think that if you made like $100K profit in 1 month, you need to take out that cash and put it into your personal account for your expenses. And I think that's a really wrong decision. You need to realize about it, but that's something that I started to do when I started with this brand. And then I realized that, first of all, I didn't need that much money to live. I just needed to have money to pay my rent, my car, my expenses, that it was, and they were not too big,
Yeah.
I was able to control myself and live a pretty good life with less money. So as soon as I started to save money for my company and having more capital, obviously I was able to open more doors in terms of getting loans, for example. And this is something that it's very important to realize, that when you find a company that gives like loans, it's not like, I mean, you need to have capital as collateral,
Yes.
And many people don't realize about that. They think that if you have like $0 in your business account, even if you are making like $2 million per month or something like that, even if you're doing that, if you don't have money on your account, you don't have liquidity, and obviously no one is going to lend you money, So as soon as I realized about that, I started to save money and reinvest all the money that I had and that I was getting. And for example, one of the reasons why we were able to make almost $400K in a single day was because we had enough stock. And we had enough stock because we got a loan from a company, And we
was it like SBA loan? What
no, it was with Wayflyer.
Oh, Wayflyer.
This is free advertising, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Wayflyer helped me a lot in achieving this. And obviously I got a loan because I had capital,
Yeah.
So it's like, you need to put everything in place in order to make something a reality. And that's why it's very important to keep investing in your business, because trust me, you don't need to get 100K, to live your life. You don't need that much money to have a good life, You need, if you live here in the United States, maybe you need like 5K, 6K maximum, and you're gonna live like a king, in my opinion.
A bit more.
Yeah, maybe a little more. Right now, yes, it's a little bit more, but it's not something crazy, That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
After how much volume did you decide to transition to a brand, kind of like, and start investing? How much revenue did you generate with like using drop shipping model?
Yeah, I mean, after I think it was our first $1 million, I started to think about.
So when you generated, like, you were able to generate like $1 million still drop shipping and sending stuff from China?
Yes, that's right.
Oh, wow.
That's right. We made our first $1 million doing drop shipping, but after that, I decided to improve myself and improve my company. And I started to think about, I think we moved from China a 3PL here in the United States.
Yeah.
And after that, I started to make like calculations, and I realized that it was better to have a warehouse where we were able to fulfill all our orders. You know, it was way cheaper. And also, I was able to control my merchandise. So we opened our warehouse like 6 months ago, and for me, it was like the best decision, you know. And right now, I feel like we have like a real brand because we have our own assets. We have our own, you know, warehouse.
Yeah.
I mean, we're pretty much controlling everything. So that's basically what makes a business, you know, more strong. If you have your warehouse, I told you this before, but you feel like more productive, you know, because when you work from home, sometimes it's a little bit difficult because it's a lot of temptations. But you know, as soon as you start working in a specific place, when you see your merchandise, you see your achievements and all the stuff, you feel like inspired, you know. And you know, for default, you're gonna feel like more productive in making all the things that you need to do on a daily basis.
For sure. So in terms of like structuring your life and kind of like achieving that like productivity, like to get stuff done, like do you do anything like specific on a day-to-day basis to be like more productive and actually, you know, move the projects forward?
Yeah, I think one of the most important parts is, you know, getting trained. For me, that's imperative. You know, the schedule that I have usually is that I try to wake up at 7 a.m. or something like that, and I do CrossFit, which, you know, makes me sweat a lot. And obviously, I
go to the gym or you do it at home?
No, I go to the gym to do that. But I relieve all my stress. And after that, you know, I take a cold shower, I take my breakfast, and I come to the office to work, you know. That's basically what I do. And you know, after 5 p.m., basically I get home and I just want to rest, you know. Because right now I'm on a place where I don't need to work 12 hours a day. That's a myth, you know, if you have success. Obviously, when you start trying to achieve your thing and trying to make like money, obviously you need to work a lot. But right now it's more important to make the right decision instead of working like 12 hours a day. In my own opinion, you know. So right now, you know, when I work like 6-7 hours a day, and after that I just want to rest because I need to be like mentally ready for the next day.
Interesting.
In terms of making like decisions for your business, you know.
Interesting. So you kind of like optimizing for the efficiency of that time that you actually spend working versus just the pure like sheer number of like hours that you put in.
Yeah, I think when you have a real brand, I think you need to start thinking as a CEO. And you know, the most important role in being a CEO is making decisions. And to make the right decisions, you need to have enough energy to make those decisions, you know. So if you try to work 12 hours a day, trust me, I mean, your decisions are not gonna be the best ones, you know. So that's why I think it's very important to have a balance. Because we usually think a lot about the business, and there's other important things such as, you know, family, self-improvement, all the stuff really matters if you want to keep growing, you know. I mean, if your business is growing, for me it's very important to start building like an A+ team, because as I said, you know, when you reach to these kind of levels, your role has to be being a CEO. You don't, I mean, you cannot keep doing like the ads or editing the videos or doing stuff like that because you're not investing your time wisely, you know. So that's why it's very important that as you grow, you need to start including more and more people and trying to optimize and trying to make and build systems and strategies and structures to make sure that your brand is going to be able to scale even more, you know. So many people forget about it. They just want the money for themselves. But, you know, that's not the way to grow, you know. If it was that way, Amazon, you know, Jeff Bezos will be able to grow Amazon just by himself. You know? And that's total BS. Obviously, Amazon has like thousands and thousands of people, you know, the same as Tesla. So it's pretty much a confirmation that you obviously need, you know, to build a really good team to keep growing, you know.
That's such a good point. As you said, you know, these big companies, they have like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, and you think about probably, some people there, like, now we had like the layoffs and stuff like that. Probably they were not like fully optimized, like some people were not necessary, but at the end of the day, that's how the company is built. That's also on that part of like maintaining the balance, like evaluating like what actually is draining your energy on day-to-day basis. If you have capital in your business, try to find someone to fill that role, right? If you don't enjoy like editing videos, find someone to edit the videos, right? If you don't enjoy like answering customer support, or like if you're still in that role, find someone who actually enjoys that and who does that well. Obviously you have to train them, you have to supervise them, but then if you have the right type of person, 1, 2, 3 months from now, that person will be able to take over, so then you can focus on other areas of business and build other departments over time. And that's how the companies are built. Like companies kind of like start with one person or two people, whatever, how many founders, and then over time you just bring more people in, so they take on their own like responsibilities, departments. And
I mean, for me, being a CEO is basically make your ideas a reality. That's the role that everyone needs to have in terms of scaling every business. That's what I'm trying to do. Obviously, even if we were able to, as I told you, generate like 8 figures this year, obviously I have a long way to go. I need to keep learning. I need to keep like hiring people. But I think that if I maintain the same mindset and if I balance myself in terms of, having priorities, we need to go to a little bit spiritual as well, in terms of self-improvement, in terms of family, relationships, because for me it's very important to have this balance. If you're able to transfer your knowledge to your team, obviously you're able to replicate your talent, and that way you can be growing, over time. If you're starting, it's very important to keep, being consistent. Obviously, you don't need to think about hiring someone if you don't have your winner product yet. Obviously, you need to focus on that after you start getting traction and getting momentum. Your friends are gonna tell you like, okay, you're not getting out with us, and you forgot about us. What is happening? Why are you like 12 hours a day sitting in the computer and stuff? So when you start hearing that, it's when you're gonna realize that you are doing the right thing, because you are doing like different things than average people. So that's when you start like getting traction and momentum and realizing about the fact that you're changing your mindset, And as soon as you start doing that, it's very important to, as I always say, like keep consistent, never giving up. Every mistake that you make, it will be like it will help you for the next try, because obviously if you make like one mistake, it's pretty hard to make the same mistake on the next try, and you're gonna be doing like that, and it's gonna be a moment when you have been doing so many mistakes that there's impossible to have another one, and that's when you start making progress. And that's when you start making, real money and success and all the stuff. So that's why I always say, and I always promote the fact that you need to be like super consistent and trying to learn as much as I can, as much as you can.
So on that side, you've been part of our communities for some time now. It's like we've seen like tremendous like growth that you have achieved. Like what would be the top, like you would say, like 2-3 things that you've taken away from our community that has helped you to get better?
I think the most important one is the networking. Obviously, many people when they start, they think that the key is getting the information about the course and stuff like that. But in my experience, I think that when you're able to speak with people doing the same as you, you're able to get a lot of shortcuts, and you're able to find the solutions for your problems if you speak with somebody. So I think networking is pretty important. Obviously, I need to include the information and the value that you have as a course, because that way everything is pretty much recorded, and if you didn't get it, obviously you have the opportunity to watch it again. And the other part that I think is very important is the community itself and the mentors that they are able to help you. And if you have specific calls with them, obviously you are able to get an answer for your questions. So I think that's pretty much the things that I take for the mastermind. I think it was the best decision. Obviously we have been able to generate more money since we started because of the networking that we had. I found many people that work with me right now that I found them throughout the masterminds that we had in the past here in Miami actually. I have been able to work with very talented people, and I think that's one of the keys on make my business grow even more. So yeah.
It's a great, I was thinking about this, like, it's kind of like the filter, right? So let's say you go on a free, like, Facebook group, there's some information, there's some insights, let's say you go to the Facebook group that costs, like, let's say $100 a month, right? There's some people, there's some information that you can, some great connections you can make. But now if you start going into the mastermind or start meeting people that, just to be there paid, 10, 20, like 30, like $50,000. Now the filter, just for those people to get there, now obviously they have money, right? Now they're investing in themselves. Right now, it's kind of like the type of attitude, the type of people that you want to see either on your team. We hired so many people from our community, like people join, to learn and grow their businesses. Then it turns out, they're a tremendous addition to our own team.
And I'm going to say something really important about that, about paying for real education and masterminds, In my opinion, I mean, for example, when I started making money with this, obviously you feel special because you feel pretty much different from the average. But as soon as you start getting into these masterminds, you realize that you're a really normal person, because if you are going to a mastermind and you make like 2, 3, 4 million in sales, it's pretty much, it's a possibility that you're gonna find someone that made like 20 million, 30 million, 40 million. So you start feeling small. And at the same time, you feel small, but you feel like more ambitious in getting into those goals, You feel like motivated because it's not like you're special. There's someone else that is making way more money than you.
And then you meet those people in person, you have a conversation with them. It's like, oh, gee, I mean, they're not that smart, or they're not that special.
They're normal people, man. That's what I always say.
That's when that like kind of like belief changes and like, wow, it's possible, I can do it, right? And then you go after it.
That's right. For me, that was really important. And every single mastermind that I went, I got a lot of information and experiences. In all sense, like being like more humble. When you start and you start getting traction, you think that, for example, Facebook is the most important part in the business, which is a total lie, When you start connecting yourself with, high level people, you realize that they don't even speak about ads, They speak about building systems, building structures, hiring the best people possible. They start speaking about that. So that's when you change your chip in that sense.
Exactly. You mentioned that one of the things that you started implementing that was also like beneficial for you, like during this Black Friday and overall, is a product launch strategy. So if you can talk about that.
That's why I always say that it's very, very important to have a really strong community and providing a good service, because every single people that sees your ads and realize about your product and they make the decision about purchasing your product, obviously you need to provide as much value as possible, because that way people will feel the trust to buy again. Can
you give example of how would that look like? Is that in terms of the product itself, the packaging?
Yeah, basically what we did was we started to collect a lot of customers throughout our main product. And we built a really nice community. Besides Shopify itself and all the stuff, we made our own Facebook group, which was the best decision, because obviously we include people on our business decisions. For example, if we want to give like a gift, they decide what's the kind of gift that they want to receive. So pretty much they help us like a lot in terms of making decisions, and obviously those decisions are more effective because it's customer based. I mean, I'm not speaking with an expert outside my business. I'm speaking with my customers. So as soon as we realized about this, we started to look for more features about the main products that we had, and we started to implement these particular features, you know. We started to make the announcements, and people got excited because the feature that we added to our products, that was something that people really wanted. And as soon as we realized it about that, we started to launch, we started to plan the launch of one new product with that feature, you know. Basically, people got crazy, and obviously we didn't have to spend a dime more in ads, you know, because we've already acquired these customers. So that's why I think it's very important to build a strong foundation, having a great customer support and everything else, because that way you are able to make a lot of money. You know what's the product that you need to launch because customers are telling you that. And obviously you are able to have more profit margins because you don't need to invest anything on advertising because you're already acquired these customers.
That's such a good point, because if you think about it, right, like take any like e-commerce, like D2C brand like these days, like one of the biggest expenses that they'll have, probably the biggest expense is like probably 25 to like 50%, some brands even more, like it's advertising, it's a marketing. And everyone is obsessed about Facebook tactics, like creatives, like, you know, all of that stuff, and investing so much time and energy to actually make it work on the front end. What Jose is saying, and it makes so much sense, and it's so many more people need to think about it and implement it, is how do you actually sell more to your existing customers, right? That's such a big point that a lot of people like underutilizing, because that's how sustainable businesses are built.
Here in the United States, it's not like there's like unlimited people. Obviously, that is going to be, you're gonna get to a point where you show your ads to everyone, you know? So that's why it's really important to start acquiring customers, even if you're like break even on the front end. As soon as you're able to include more products and more service into your brand, you know, and if you provide a good service, obviously you are able to get these old customers and, you know, make them spend more money on your brand. You know, that's the key in building like a 9-figure brand if you want to do it, you know, only in one country. Obviously, other solution will be like start thinking about getting into other countries. That's one of the most important like things in order to scale. So it's all about, you know, trying to include like more strategies in terms of, you know, making your brand grow, you know?
So on a tactical level, how do you execute the product launch? Like, do you accumulate the emails, do you accumulate the SMS, do you have like email sequence that's kind of like warms people up, gets them excited? Like, how do you do that on a tactical level?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's very important to keep communication with your customer after, you know, you acquire them as a real customer that spend money on your store. But I think it's very important to start implementing like email marketing campaigns. It's imperative. And also the SMS campaigns are super important because it's like direct response, you know. They usually checking their phones, and it's like more effective in terms of feedback. You know, they get into your website and they bought pretty quick, you know, in those terms. So yeah, I think both are very important.
So do you use any specific apps to like launch products?
Not really. I mean, the email marketing app basically is Klaviyo, and we're working with Attentive in for SMS campaigns. Pretty much that's what we do. How
often do you send
maybe SMS? Twice a week or something
SMS?
Like that. Yeah, twice a week is like the perfect option. And for the product launches, we just, you know, plan ourselves in terms of started to creating like specific landing pages and stuff like that. And as soon as we're ready to launch the product, we usually send like SMS campaigns and email marketing campaigns, you know, and we receive pretty nice results.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So what percentage of your revenue currently comes from like email and SMS?
It's around 25 to 30%.
Very nice. Yeah, you work with an agency?
For the advertising, yes.
And for the email and SMS?
No, we're not working with anyone.
Oh, really?
We're not working with agency, you know. We're trying to do it in-house, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who do you have for that? Like a designer, like someone who writes a copy?
Yeah, we have that, but we're not working with a specific agency or something.
So in terms of your team, like how is your team structured? Like who do you have in-house? Like what do you outsource? Like any agencies that you work with?
Yeah, I mean, with the advertising, we found an amazing agency that's built by an A+ team. So We hire them, and we're doing like multi-channel ads with this particular company. And
So what channel? Like Facebook, TikTok?
we're promoting. We are advertising in Facebook and TikTok, Google, and Snapchat. We're doing that currently.
Interesting.
Yeah, we're thinking on getting on Pinterest, for example. But it's a plan.
How much do they pay your agency?
It depends, but usually it's around 50K or something like that. That's what happens with the agencies. You know that when you start, when you decide to work with an agency, you're not gonna have like the best experience. And I found the opposite with this one, so that's why I value them so much. You know?
Okay.
Because besides the ads, obviously they're able to edit my videos.
Wow.
To do
Okay, it's a full cycle.
the ad copies. Developers.
You could probably like build this team kind of like in house, right? But it would take you so much time, so the lost opportunity would cost you probably even more than that.
Of course, and I think I told you about this in the last interview, that it's very important to recognize that you are not the best. And if you find someone with more talent than you, it's very important to give them the value that they deserve. So if you want to work with A+ people, with top class people, obviously it's not going to be cheap. But that's the way to automate your business, because that way you can start thinking about getting into other brand.
Or now you have more mind space to actually have time and
that's right. And as long as we're able to make money, for me, I don't care if I need to spend a lot of money on the agency, for example. And besides that, we have people working in-house, which is basically the people that I have inside the warehouse to fulfill the orders. But everyone else basically are working remotely. I don't need them to be in my office, because we are in 2022. Everything is possible. Everything is possible after COVID. So we have a specific team in Latin America, and as I told you, we are almost like 20 people working on the company right now, including the ones that belong to the agency.
Very cool.
So,
did you hire any people in Venezuela directly?
Yes, I think we have one or two that are working with us. Obviously, the communication is way easier. One of the filters that we have when we hire people only for our company, we usually try to find people in Latin America, because Spanish is my main language, and it's way easier for me to communicate with them. And we have something very specific about our personality that makes work easier. And we build great relationships with our team, but obviously it's about culture as well. So that's why I try to promote the fact that we need to hire people that belong from our countries, such as Venezuela, Mexico, you name it.
For sure. And from the cost perspective as well, it's like we have some people that are from also like from South America, and if you pay like $1,000-$1,500 a month, these people like really appreciate that opportunity. Whereas like in the United States, you're not always like there's like people that you have to like pay more, right? And then also like they have their like expectations, and it's kind of like it's a different kind of like mentality.
I think it's more about opportunity as well, because as you say, if you pay like 3-4K to someone here in the United States, maybe they will get like even mad, because it's not like a huge salary. So obviously Latin America has a different situation. Sometimes things are really tough. So as a business owner, if I have the chance and the opportunity to provide a solution and work to someone that really needs it, obviously I feel like more, I feel better, I feel like more happy, and I believe that, doing these type of actions, you will feel that you're doing the right thing. You will find like great people and talented people, most important, and you will feel really excited and happy, as I said, because you're providing opportunity to those people that really needs to get a job. And if you're able to train them and make them perform the work as the way you want, obviously you can maintain a really nice relationship, and they can grow inside your company. So
at the same time, as you said, like you're paying your agency like 50 G's a month, right? So it's widely predicated on kind of like on specific like functions of the company and the upside that these people bring, right? It's okay to overpay. It's okay to pay more. It's okay if people base here, doesn't matter where they're based.
Yeah.
If they really like, know their shit, if they're like really good at like what they do.
I mean, and the perfect example is that if you find a CEO of a very small company, they are making like 10K per month, but you cannot pay 10K to the Amazon CEO, right? Because this person is like more talented. This person has like more experience. And obviously, they have their own value, So you cannot pretend that if you're looking for top class people, you cannot pretend that you are going to pay like minimum wage. It doesn't make any sense,
exactly.
So sometimes I think about it. Obviously, it's not like a cheap option, like speaking about the agency, but I'm pretty sure that with all the agencies out there, and I have been working with some agencies, obviously it's a little bit hard to feel satisfied, with an agency.
It's hard to find
it's
a good
really
one.
hard.
It's
so
really
that's
hard.
why I would prefer to pay more for an agency that keeps me satisfied month over month. And it's been a really nice experience, and that's the way we have been able to scale as well, because not so many there's a lot of people that know how to do ads, but there's not so many people that knows how to get to 400K per day, for example. It's not like, you need to have experience, and you need to be really responsible in terms of spending money on ads, for example. You need to be like an expert to do that.
One of the things you mentioned, and it resonates so much, that you can be good at everything, right? You can be good, like world class at everything, because as we start the business, we start as generalists for the most part. We didn't have like a massive capital, so we edit our own ads, we run our own ads, we build our own like landing pages, so, and then, the same transition as we talked about, it's like over time you have to, what kind of like person I can give this task to, that they are like the best in the world, or at least, they're a lot better than me in that role. So now I can win back my time, and I can dedicate that time to, build other departments or do some other things.
And that is very important as well. And as you start, growing and improving yourself, it's very important to start investing money to get more time for yourself. Many people have, the wrong mindset in that particular sense. So I think it's very important to, if you have the chance to start paying and delegating for certain tasks, you're gonna be able to enjoy more your time, and you're gonna be able to use your time in a wise way, And that's something that you need to learn over time and over experiences. And that's something that I'm trying to promote, because as I told you, my role that right now in my brand is being a CEO. And the CEOs don't make ads, the CEOs don't customize the pages or stuff like that. The main role as a CEO is making decisions, a reality. That's the mindset that I have right now, and that's what I want to maintain, until I'm able to, sell my brand or something like that,
Someone listening to this, let's say, someone who starts like e-commerce business or any other business, for that matter, like, which would be your top 3 pieces of advice?
The first one is basically being consistent and being constant and never giving up. I usually repeat this a lot of times, but it's true, and you can confirm this information with me. I think that when you start working on something and you don't give up, there's gonna be a point where you have made a lot of mistakes, and you're not gonna make any other after all.
You'll get smarter over time.
You'll get smarter over time. That's the first advice. The second advice is never being like satisfied. You need to keep your ambition going, even if you're gonna be able to start getting goals. And achieving goals. You need to start thinking about the next goal. What's next? What should I do to keep growing? And that's one of the I usually put this as an example, obviously right now we have done like more than 8 figures, but it's not like I'm gonna be like satisfied. I need to start thinking about how to get to 9 figures and 10 figures, So that's why I think it's very important to keep the ambition growing. And the third one I think is, maintaining the humility. You know, because when you start seeing money, you think that you're better than average,
Yeah.
and than other people. And as soon as you start realizing that, you know, there's people that are doing more money than you, and they are like more humble than you. Why you have to be the way you are, you know, in terms of not having humility, you know. So as soon as you're able to start accepting that there's better people, I mean that there's more people that are making like more money than you, and they are like more humble than you, it's very important to keep, you know, your feet on the ground per se. And you know, I'm pretty sure you're gonna make like way better decisions if you think with a really humble mindset. So those are my 3 pieces.
Awesome, Jose. Thank you so much. You know, next time we can actually do like 1 million a day.
We'll make
but
it.
it's you know, for me it's like not about that like 1 million a day, but about the hitting those like benchmarks, but also, you know, throughout this journey, like as you said, doing it in a sustainable way, right? Like, so it's like not you doing like 1 million a day and then like you having your merchant account shut down, or you have your PayPal shut down, or you have like so many returns that you're literally losing money because you're selling shit product. It's awesome to see that evolution, that progression. Awesome to see that, you know, we have been able to help you with some resources, some connections in our community, and, you know, looking forward to see your next breakthroughs and next successes.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Jose.